Hey class, let me get rid of this. Um, if you're looking at this on a screen, you're seeing a pretty good map of the Texas Revolution. And I'll post this map. Again, maps I think are just a really quick way to understand what can sometimes be confusing material. But anyway, you're on this map, you're seeing a bunch of stuff, but I want to focus on two things right now. I want to focus on the invasion of Texas by Santa Anna. Santa Anna organizes an army in the interior of Mexico, northern Mexico, and he starts marching towards Texas across the Rio Grande in the winter of 1836, in the early winter of 1836. It's a very actually tough march, tough slog for the Mexican army as they march through the interior of Mexico. They come across the Rio Grande, south of Eagle Pass in Guerrero, in that area of the Rio Grande. And the reason they cross there is there's some passes there, some fords there that are pretty shallow. And he's leading an army of thousands of men, 5,000 men, 6,000 men, something like that. But pretty much everybody knows about Santa Anna marching to San Antonio. That's not really a surprise. What a lot of folks don't know is that there was another prong of the Mexican attack against the Texas revolutionaries, and that was under General Urrea, and I'll go ahead and spell his name. I talk about it in the podcast. It's Urrea. And this prong, it didn't have as many soldiers, but it comes through Matamoros. And this is the prong that is going to capture Goliad. So when Santa Anna marches into Texas, he marches in two columns. One that crosses the Rio Grande upriver, south of Eagle Pass, and another that crosses the Rio Grande way downriver, right near where the Gulf of Mexico flows, or the Rio Grande flows into the Gulf of Mexico in Matamoros, under General Urrea. And this is important. I'll talk about this in the podcast, but I want you to have a better understanding of the Texas Revolution than most folks have. It's much more complex in a number of ways. One of the complexities that I want to get across in this course and in these podcasts is Tejanos supported, or a number of prominent Tejanos supported the Texas Revolution. The Seguin family, which was a very significant family in San Antonio, they supported the Texas Revolution. They thought that Santa Anna was a dictator. And so for them, the Seguin family, they're trying to overthrow a dictator. Navarro, de Zavala, they support the Texas Revolutionary. So you have these Tejano elites, many of them, such as the Seguin family, had deeply implicated in the introduction of slavery into Texas, as were a lot of Tejano elites that served in the legislature in Saltillo, that are working alongside the Americans that are, or the Anglo-Americans, mostly Anglo-Americans, that are fighting the Mexican army. Now, when I was in school, the Texas Revolution was kind of taught as a race war. It was taught as a war of, I guess, to put it in a kind of the crudest way possible, brown-skinned people versus white-skinned people, right? So Mexicans, Tejanos, people of Mexican descent versus Anglos. Well, one of the things I want to get across in this class is that that was not the case. Many Tejanos, or significant Tejanos, when I say significant, I'm talking about leading families, supported the Texas Revolution. Now, what's going to happen to these Tejanos, such as Juan Seguin, after the revolution, they're going to be some of the biggest losers in the Republic of Texas. And when Texas becomes an independent state, they're going to lose their land, they're going to lose their status. It's a tragic story, but we're not there yet. Okay, we're not there yet. And of course, this should go without saying, but I'll say it anyway. Seguin is named after the Seguin family. They had huge land holdings that stretched east of San Antonio, and Seguin is where their land is. And today, even there is a cemetery that has members of the Seguin family. Okay, but to get to the point, it was not, the Texas Revolution is not a race war. Significant Tejano families supported the revolutionaries. They didn't like Santa Anna, and they were willing to fight against Santa Anna. Okay, so this is one of the things that I'm going to talk about in the podcast today. By the way, I want to point this out. I really actually love this map. This is one of the better maps. The Mexican army came across the Rio Grande in two columns. Guerrero, well, three. I talked about Urea down by Matamoros, but upriver, they come across Guerrero and then Laredo. The reason that they're coming across on a couple of columns is, thousands of men. It's really it's tough to get them across the river. Even the Rio Grande is a shallow river, but it's still a river. And so Santa Anna had to kind of disperse his forces to get them across the river, but they're going to reunite, especially his columns that are coming up, they're going to reunite in San Antonio. Now,